Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So today I got a fun and exciting episode for you guys this evening, because just a few hours ago, SRG320 uploaded more test footage of his work-in-progress 3DO core for MiSTer FPGA. And if you know me and you know the channel, I'm always advocating for the 3DO as a console. There is a ton of love on it, and even if it isn't perfect, it's nowhere near as bad as the internet would lead you to believe. And I've always said MiSTer FPGA won't be complete until we get a 3DO core, and SRG320 is clearly working on it. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. And I apologize in advance, my voice isn't perfect today. I've been sick since Friday, but this got me off the couch because damn it, I want to talk about some 3DO. And the footage that SRG320 has uploaded ranges from basically feeling like it's near to full speed to games looking like a slideshow. And that's not a knock on the core whatsoever, it's still in progress, but honestly it's gotten to the point where you can get audio and FMVs. Listen, and I'll be right back.
The universe was once a lovely place to live. Broad smiles beamed from every planet in the Milky Way. Law-abiding galactic citizens thrived under the happy twinkling stars, and goodwill flowed from one end of the cosmos to the other. But then things changed.
Honestly, it's hyper impressive to hear and see that FMV playing back inside a work-in-progress core, and it sounds like it should. And as far as the performance of Captain Quasar is concerned, this feels very close to a real 3DO as far as the speed would be. And this is definitely a game worth checking out on 3DO. It's an isometric running gun shooter, if you can't already tell, and it is one of my favorite 3DO games of all time. And here on the core, graphically, performance-wise, it looks absolutely outstanding so far. Now, obviously, this core isn't complete. It's not something we're testing. We're just uploading the footage here as far as SRG320's uploads are concerned, but hopefully soon we can test these cores out and get some direct captures. But this is just wild to see. We're basically getting the entire generation of hardware on MiSTer FPGA. We've got PlayStation One, Sega Saturn, Nintendo 64, Atari Jaguar, and now 3DO is coming to the party as well. You'll see a little slowdown there in the grenade, and there's a tiny bit of slowdown inherent in the game on real hardware, but it definitely is slowing down more here. But the fact that we're even getting these frame rates and the games are booting on SRG320's test system means that 3DO is in progress, and it is showing a lot of forward momentum. Because last time he previewed this, we kind of had maybe in-game footage of just a few games and a few tests. Now he's going through the library, and we see a lot of things are booting into the game and are quite impressive, and I can't wait to be able to test this for you. Let's move over to another game, Casper. Definitely, in my opinion, a hidden gem on the 3DO. One that probably not many people played back in the day, but definitely is worth playing today. And that's going to be the fun part about getting a 3DO core on MiSTer FPGA, because if you haven't jumped into software emulation and you don't own an original 3DO, these are probably all games you've never checked out before. And this looks really close to what it should look like as well. Obviously, there's a little bit of a garbage strip of pixels at the top of the screen, and Casper's actual shadow there is not rendering correctly, but he is transparent like he would be on the 3DO. This is another really nice example of just how good of 2D the 3DO could do as far as a console is concerned. It's also, again, one of those games that I think people would really enjoy if they knew existed and checked out. And I was super excited to see footage of Casper in SRG320's example, because it is one of those games I've played it enough to know what it's supposed to look like. And you'll see here as Casper moves around objects, you will see that the background is transparent through his actual sprite, and that definitely shows a lot of progress as far as the graphical subsystem is concerned of 3DO. A little flicker there, but that's not surprising at all. And if you're not aware, the 3DO basically runs on an operating system called Opera, so this is one of those things that's probably a little bit more difficult to get running than something like some of the other consoles you've seen, just because there is a little bit more going on in the software side of things. But speaking of Ghosts, let's move over to Escape from Monster Manor, and this one's definitely one that isn't running anywhere near the speed it would be on a real 3DO console. And again, that's not a knock against the core whatsoever, it's work in progress. It is just one of those games that when it was previewed, you could tell it was not doing what it should, but I'm sure next time we see footage or get a test core, it will be even better. And as far as soundtrack samples are concerned, I'm going to let you listen to Doom next, because it might not be the best port of the game, but damn it, it's got some of the best Doom music around. 45 seconds in core quality audio, and I'll be right back with more. mean, obviously the 3DO port of Doom is not one of the better ports out there, but it really wasn't fair either because the developer of this actually only had like a month to try to get it stood up. The company that contracted them to be able to make it just did not give them the time, and the fact that it even runs this well is a testament of how talented that developer was. Burger Becky, if you're not familiar with the name, but the sound coming out of the core in SRG 320's footage is absolutely outstanding, and I can't wait to hear more. Now, I'm super stoked to see him put up footage of Killing Time, because even though I don't think it's the technically best game ever made, it is for me my favorite video game of all time, and I've played this to death. I even helped a tiny bit with the new Night Dive remaster. You can find my name somewhere in the game and in the credits, and this definitely isn't running at anywhere near the native frame rate, which was not that impressive on original 3DO hardware, but you can definitely tell it is slower here, and there's a lot of weirdness in the textures as well, because these are made out of polygons, and you will see that the textures kind of pop in and out of existence and kind of swap themselves around a little bit. So obviously whatever texture caching system here is not working correctly, because this does have a level of detail implementation. The textures will get better or worse depending on how far away or close you are to them in the camera. So maybe that texture swapping right there is just kind of pulling in the wrong textures from that LOD implementation. I'm not sure, I just know that's how it works, but even seeing a little footage of Killing Time absolutely gets me excited. Now moving over to something like the Need for Speed, another game synonymous with the 3DO and one definitely still worth checking out. It is running here. Graphically it looks correct, but there is some screen tearing in the image, and definitely again isn't a game that is running at its native frame rate. So it seems like this is a situation where SRG 320 has a lot of the calls to the hardware kind of buttoned up or close to, but some of them still aren't perfect and the overall speed isn't there yet. But that's not really surprising. This is the same thing we've seen on Sega Saturn, where in the initial test cores you'd have games with huge graphical glitches that wouldn't be anywhere near the native frame rate, and now we're basically near to a perfect Sega Saturn core. Or something like Road Rash here, the definite best version of the game in my opinion. It looks correct, it just doesn't seem like it is the native frame rate, but I'm sure that will improve, and again, just seeing the progress made absolutely is exciting. And if you're just going to go down below in the comments and say the 3DO sucks, totally do that. It feeds the algorithm and it loves to be fed, and I appreciate when you toss it tasty morsels. And trust me, I understand the 3DO isn't the best console ever made, but if you just discount this entire platform because you heard it sucks, you are missing out on some fun games. And again, getting the preservation in FPGA is awesome as well. Let's move over to something like Crash and Burn. This was a pack-in game for the 3DO, and this maybe feels like it's running 75 to 80% of the native speed that you would get on a 3DO console, but sometimes it does seem to hitch a little bit. It was a fun technical showcase of having 3D at home on the 3DO, but definitely maybe not the game that's aged the best, but it is still a great example of what the core is doing. All of these different color effects here in-game seem to be rendering very close to what I would expect, and that's just exciting to see, because not only is the 3DO a technically advanced piece of hardware that's probably hard to get into an FPGA core, SRG 320 is concurrently still working on the Sega Saturn core as well. One more soundtrack sample, another racing game, and this one has audio, and I'll be right back with more. I mean, BC Racers definitely isn't the most fun racing game you're going to find on the 3D or any other console, but it was another example of the audio coming through, and it is a situation where that's not Redbook audio, that would be audio coming out of the silicon inside an actual 3DO interactive multiplayer, because some games are going to have all of their music on Redbook audio, other games are just basically going to use the internal sound chip, so you kind of get a little mix and match. And don't forget, there is a Demolition Man game in full motion video on the 3DO, and actually they got Sylvester Stallone to do the acting for the game. It is definitely one of my favorites on 3DO. It's a little bit janky, but it is so incredibly charming and so much fun to just play around with, and that is the fun part about 3DO. Not every single game is going to be amazing, but there are a ton of games out there that are fun. And you might notice that spotlight's coming through that building a little bit, as are the sprites of the enemies as they come out of that doorway, so this isn't working 100% perfectly, and you can tell with the fact that it's working at all and working this well at this point in time is just massively impressive, and I can't wait to be able to test this core and try out some of my favorite games. Leave me a comment down below and tell me, did you own a 3DO back in the day? And if not, do you own one now? And what is your favorite game to play? For me, it's always going to be something like Killing Time, where there's so many incredible games on 3DO. Need for Speed, Road Rash, Captain Quasar, stuff like Dr. Hauser. There is a ton of fun to be had, but because Sylvester Stallone acts in a game on 3DO, it's what I wanted to close the video out with. And hopefully soon, again, we'll be able to start a testing series on this. I've been helping out a little bit in the background, just getting some of the arcade assets set up, because 3DO is also used as an arcade board. But next time there's more updates, I'll make another video. But it looks like 3DO progress is being made, and SRG320 isn't just working on Sega Saturn. But we're done, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.